Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 23 Driver Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. This is a big weekend. We have a brief break here on the season, as well as we had an emergency meeting following the last few Grand Prix. Let's take a brief listen how that went with Christian Horner.
All right, everyone, we need to get our act together right now if we want to win. This is a team that should win races and be fighting for both titles. Mike, I expect you to get on the guys in durability to get our car better in that area immediately. Gary, drive the car and focus on the racing. We know it's a struggle and we don't need to be told any more about it. Felipe, I need you to be a bit more aggressive moving through the field. Let's go win France and turn this season around.
And we arrive in France to do exactly that. Now, while Christian Horner was giving that little speech, you saw a bunch of durability upgrades coming in as well. We had some news this weekend. Williams has actually had some financial issues with Martini, and they have actually ended their partnership for the remainder of the season. So you're going to see their original livery back on their car for this weekend as they now seek out a new title sponsor going through the rest of the season. But an unfortunate moment for the Williams F1 team as they lose their sponsor through some financial contract issues with Martini, of course, once they came back a few seasons ago with that Williams F1 team. So unfortunate to see. Hopefully, of course, that doesn't affect their performance too much and they can continue to, try and make some gains within the sport of Formula 1 now. P2, P3 for Drugovich and myself here. We've had statistically our worst start ever to a career since our rookie season. At least it's not been pretty. Drugovich has beat us every Grand Prix so far as well. We have had some issues with durability. We've had a self-spin in Australia in the season opener that put us in trouble. And of course, just, all of the issues in the last episode kind of forced our hand to have that emergency meeting to kick off the episode now. But we roll into qualifying. Q1 is going to be a breeze. Now, there is rain on the way. It was looking like it was going to hit in Q3, which could be an opportunity for us. But it was Butler, Armstrong, Joe, Hughes, as well as Callie Mayer out in Q number 1. Q number 2, really not having to go full beans in this Red Bull Ford. Just have to really get it around the track and, have a decent lap. That's really all you need here now to make it into Q3 with this caliber of a car. We roll through the final turn down to the line. It's going to be P4. To my surprise, however, my teammate of Drugovich was only in P11, what appears to be a rough lap for him, and to my surprise, he wouldn't go back out on track. A bunch of cars would, but not Drugovich, so he would be down P12 to start this Grand Prix, as it's going to be Ocon, Drugovich, Gasly, Sainz, and Tsunoda out as Lawson sneaks his way into Q3, and it would officially be a wet Q3, so I would get out on track. This is an opportunity for us. I think we have a fast car this weekend, but this is a great opportunity to get our second pole of the season here now as we come through to complete lap 1, only P7, getting up to grips with everything. Of course, you really need to feel things out on that opening lap, on the intermediate tire. The best part about this is you can run 4, 5, 6 laps even and still find pace, unlike if you were on a soft tire. We would get up to P4, we would go slower on lap number 3, but on lap number 4, we would start to find a little bit more time. And the rain was also starting to lighten up a little bit here, but to the line on the end of lap 4, nearly 3/10 improvement puts us on pole. Lap 5 now at this point, and this was going to be my final lap from the looks of it. Based off what the field, we have less than a lap of field, so this would be the last lap that I get in, and through the final couple of corners, we're going to find even more time. 2.5 of a second gain through the final turn. A little bit wide on the apex, giving up about 1/10 of a second, but we gain it back to the line, and that's going to increase our gap, and we would end up pole position for the second time this season, but Russell would get very close to beating us there, as he'll be on the front row alongside myself, Albon, Hamilton, Norris, the top 5 as you see 6th through 10th there, Lawson at the bottom of the grid. Let's get ready to go racing on Sunday.
Hello and welcome from the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. Now, it's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt, the feature of many a highlights reel. So let's hope we see more of those in the race today. Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners. 6 go to the left and 9 go to the right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The two halves of the long Mistral straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the chicane. And watch out for drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen, Jackson, Oscar Piastri, Liam Lawson, Ocon, Drugovich, Gasly, Tsunoda, Butler, Armstrong, Joe, Hughes, Mayer, and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to power unit component changes. It's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
You know, pole position is great, but we had pole in Mexico and we saw how that ended up going for us now, but we actually will be on a fresh set of softs to start this Grand Prix, going to the mediums here for the French Grand Prix. We won this last year. Let's try and repeat that here today.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
A big mix in strategy today. You see some drivers on hards such as Leclerc, Piastri, as well as Lost, and many on mediums and softs.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
All right, team. You know, it's been a hard year, but I think things are going to change today. Let's get it done.
Go get them today, mate. This is our day.
Rolling up to our number 1 grid slot here. Now, I'm looking at this as a must-win kind of race. You know, it's been a terrible first 3 Grand Prix. We've had speed basically every time, except for Australia. You know, we struggled in Australia on pace, and then we had the self-spin, but we were still on, you know, track for a top 5 finish there if things had worked out. But today, things are going to turn around. At least I hope so. Let's find out. Nonetheless, it's going to be 27 laps of racing, 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out. We're racing from the French Grand Prix here in Paul Ricard. It's a great launch off the grid. We cover off Russell. No issues in the background. Albon slow off the start here as we dive down towards turn number 1. We cover off everybody. Great through the first few corners there in the background. You can see some side-by-side action. Our teammate of Drugovich, of course, starting down the order outside the top 10. He's got some serious work to do here today in Paul Ricard if he wants to be able to move his way forward inside the points, but we know, of course, just how quick our Red Bull Ford is. It should not be an issue for our teammate there in his second season in Formula 1 to move his way into a points-paying position, and he's had a solid debut with Red Bull Ford so far. Now, as I'm under pressure already from Russell here, the AI are always so quick down the straights on that opening lap, so this is not surprising, but I'm confident we got the pace here today, so I'm not going to make it, you know, a extreme fight against George Russell, but I am going to try and open that door. He's going to shut it immediately. Hamilton in 3rd, Albon 4th, 5th, Norris. Verstappen has dropped down the order a little bit here now as we're right on the back of Russell there, trying to avoid contact now. As we would complete that opening lap, we'd be in okay shape here now, just kind of staying directly behind George Russell, waiting really mainly for DRS to get enabled on lap number 3. That's when it's going to be an easy breeze past the British driver here now as we're sandwiched in between 2 past teammates now. Yellow flags in the background. It's Lando Norris in the Mercedes, who's pulling off track with a mechanical issue.
No power, guys.
And you hear it right there, Lando reporting No power in the car. Day over for Norris on just a second lap. Like Leclerc last episode had a retirement, and just a second lap for Trackhouse Racing. Reliability has been a big issue for the top teams, especially so far this season. Ending lap 2, starting lap 3. We set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix right on the back of Russell, Hamilton, Albon, Verstappen behind, but they're all on the mediums, while we are up here on the softs in the top 2 with the DRS out looking for an overtake on Russell here down towards the braking zone. We close up in on the back of him. Safety car deployed. Red flag actually is going to come out, and I had no idea anything was even happening because I was so focused on this, but it was actually a spin from Esteban Ocon in his home Grand Prix. Goes around from P10 and stacks up everybody here, and that brings out the red flag for the first time in Season 5. We usually see about 1 to 2 red flags per season now, as this would change everything. We're going to be going onto the hard compound tire and trying to go to the end from here. That's the strategy that they felt like was the best. Myself and Russell on the same strat. Hamilton, Verstappen on the softs. Albon's on the hards. Those Ferraris are going to be flying. We're back. Lights out. And it's a good launch off the grid for myself. 3 wide in the background there. The Ferraris going after it now. Albon falling in the distance. And I believe that was Verstappen that's gone through. We're side by side with Russell through the first few corners clear. But Verstappen has been able to get in front of Hamilton, and look at our teammate right there, Felipe Drugovich has really benefited as well. He's moved his way forward now. He's on the hards, and you can see Aiden Jackson as well on that hard compound tire. Mediums right there for both of the Trackhouse cars, actually. That's Piastri and Leclerc, both on the mediums. Now as we round that left-hander down the straightaway, we know again that we're going to be under pressure here down this long straightaway. Russell with that slipstream as well, just infinite more power than me on this opening lap, and he is going to be able to breeze back past me, but I'm not going to make it easy. This time we're alongside, nearly contact there between himself and I. We have had battles before with Mercedes at this racetrack, and it continues today. We stay ahead, but Russell again, look at the speed he has. He swings to the left. Verstappen follows. Thankfully, he doesn't try to force it 3 wide now as we continue wheel to wheel through the sweeping right-hander. Russell takes the lead back here in the French Grand Prix. Still not really concerned. The only concern I have is the 2 Ferraris that are right on my rear wing right now with the soft compound tire. Into turn 1, lap 6, Russell defensive line there, but you can see him staying put in the lead of this Grand Prix as we were able to stay right on the back of him here now as we continue to be up his gearbox rear wing, coming to the start of lap 7, swinging to the right side of the track, going for the lead. DRS are now enabled here in the turn 1. A big lock up there from Russell. Maybe the first moment this season where luck is on our side, because that was so close to maybe contact as well as damage to the wing, but instead we're able to back out of it just enough to switch him back and go and take the lead again here in France. Now Russell down to 4th, but now the problem is DRS enabled for Verstappen in the Ferrari, and you can see he blows all the doors off of my doorless car. He goes to the lead of the French Grand Prix here now, as we would really now just be in focus mode of trying to stay with him, because now what we do know is Verstappen's going to have to pit again. Hamilton's going to have to pit again. Piastri down in 5th. Leclerc as well, and the other Trackhouse car, they're all going to have to pit again. We're racing George Russell right now as we come to the end of lap 8. Yellows in the background. Actually, that's Marcus Armstrong in the Alfa Romeo Haas, who's had a mechanical failure. So Armstrong, the second driver out on the day due to mechanical issues here. But those soft tires were really allowing, a Lewis Hamilton to be able to really grip up Sector 1 and get to the back of me in towards the DRS range in zone, and that would allow him to do that. So it now becomes a Ferrari 1-2. Piastri up to 4th, passing Russell. But now my goal was simple. Stick with these guys, because if they drive away, they're going to pit and they could have a chance to win the Grand Prix on a 1 stop to go. However, if we stay with them, we're going to be in really good shape here now, and this helps as well. Hamilton going for a move on Verstappen, gets very close right there, but Hamilton takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Verstappen down into the 2nd position, and these two, their softs were starting to fade on lap 11, and you can see it because the time to Piastri and Russell was decreasing significantly here because of the fact that I was having to wait behind these guys. So now there was only half a second between myself and Piastri. A huge send into the braking zone at the end of the DRS straight on the inside of Verstappen. That was actually an accidental send. I was just trying to look up the inside, kind of show the nose, and next thing you know, I was going up the inside of Verstappen, who's now under pressure as well in the background from Oscar Piastri, but he stays ahead for now. But next up, Lewis Hamilton here, and you can see, yeah, these hards are so much better right now through the grippier sections of the track than the softs are. The softs have completely faded, but they're trying to stretch it as far as they can to a point where they're comfortable with making their pit stops. But now wheel to wheel with Hamilton into turn turn 1 with the DRS, and back into the point. Here we go. P number 1 in the French Grand Prix for like the 3rd time already. We have gone to this front position. Can we hold it? The answer was no. Here comes Hamilton right back at me with the DRS. He's going to breeze past now. In the background, you can see Albon fighting with Russell. He's trying to move through on the Mercedes and gain a position, and he does exactly that. I'm right on the back of Hamilton there. Nearly some contact now, and you see me actually surveying the car, making sure there's no damage. But we have a great car here today. We just got to be smart about this now. And as we come through to these final few corners, look at the difference in pace through now the parts where the grip matters. And you can see up the inside of Hamilton through the final turn, and we'll take the lead back. And now Hamilton, he's going to be under pressure because he has no DRS, and Verstappen's right on the back of him, and Verstappen would pass him through turn 1 as Ferrari, I mean, they're having a great day, but I think they've dropped the ball on the strategy here. Verstappen now comes into the pits at the end of lap 15, and it looks like he's going to bring the Trackhouse machine of Leclerc with him, and they took those softs the same length that the Trackhouse cars took the medium compound tires. Honestly, I think that Ferrari, it would have been in their best interest to pit a little bit earlier with both drivers now once they started to fade. But Hamilton, I mean, he was still able to stay within half a second of me, and you see him coming to the pits now at the end of lap 16, coming to 17, and he brings the other Trackhouse car of Oscar Piastri with him. So Albon will go into second, Russell into third, and you can see the difference here. Look at Verstappen, just 1 lap difference pitting earlier. He gets way out in front of Hamilton, while Leclerc just gets out just barely in front of these 2 drivers. So we'll have to watch the progress of those 4 cars as we're going to go through the grid with 10 laps to go.
We know it's not been an easy season for Owen, but he has had speed all year long and is showing it again today.
And Mercedes have turned a corner this year. Russell has been great, and so has Lando. They just need to focus on reliability. We also have a quote from Lando from a moment ago.
Lando, not the ideal start to the season, but you have speed. What's the status of your season?
We've got some work to do with the reliability, for sure. Outside of that, we've found the speed we need, so there is a lot of promise to build on.
We see the Ferraris and Trackhouse machines trying to move forward in these closing 10 laps. I get the feeling they both have gone with the wrong strategy today, Martin.
They have. The only way this strategy works is if they got out front and drove away, which is hard to do here with the DRS.
Ocon up in the points after that self-spin igniting the red flag. Alpine continues to be the best of the rest into their home Grand Prix.
What a Grand Prix it has been here. Now we had the reliability chaos with Lando Norris on just lap 2. A lap later, we have a red flag come out due to Esteban Ocon self-spin. And then as well, actually right now, there's a self-spin from Oscar Piastri in the Trackhouse machine. You can see him stopped in that little chicane right there. So that is going to put him behind a little bit, but he's able to get it back going. No safety car from that as the battles would continue behind lap 21. This is Russell trying to go around the outside of Albon here into the braking zone at the end of that long DRS straight. He gets the job done. The question is, can he drive away? Can he hold on to that position? The answer was no. A few laps later, lap 23, Albon, he's going to do the exact same move that Russell did, just do it on Russell this time. So up back into second he goes. Russell, actually, hold on. Russell's going to fight back, and now he's going to stay P2. What can Albon do on the run down towards the long sweeping right-hander? And he is going to maybe take the position. Russell tries to pinch him down towards the curbing. What a battle right here these two are having, giving each other room. Nice, respectful, but Albon gets through into second place. Dragovic and Jackson are scrapping it out for 4th and 5th, and then the cars behind are all over them now. The 2 Ferraris of Verstappen as well as Hamilton have run them down. So how far can Verstappen and Hamilton get here in these closing moments of this Grand Prix? This is lap 25, and this is Verstappen passing Dragovic here, who had lost a position to Aiden Jackson here now, and you can see this is going to allow Hamilton to open the door as well for himself, and a bit of contact between the two. Dragovic goes from 4th to 5th to 6th down to 7th now after these guys were done with him, and then with 2 to go, Verstappen with the DRS, he's going to breeze past Aiden Jackson into 4th. Those Ferraris were fast today. They just had the wrong strategy. They could have won this Grand Prix, and I'm pretty glad that they screwed up their strategy. The final lap of the French Grand Prix. It's been a rough season so far. It's been no secret. Things haven't gone our way. Of course, an 8th and a pair of 9th place finishes in the first 3 Grand Prix of the season. I looked at this as a must-win scenario. We had an emergency team meeting before the episode there, and now here we are out of the final turn. We're going to come through to win the French Grand Prix here in Paul Ricard. We will absolutely take that. We are so back here in the battle for a world championship. Thank you guys, thank you. Finally, we knew we could do this.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. Let's make this title run.
It's, like I said, not been an easy season, but we're back, and we're on the top step of the podium here. And how about Mercedes? You know, a lot of questions about that team coming into the season. The last half of Season 4 was absolutely miserable for that team, but they are really turning things around right now, going into, this first part of the season. I mean, George Russell specifically has been running, top 5 every episode. Norris has had speed. He's had a little bit more misfortune when it comes to the mechanical situation. He's already had 2 mechanical failures in the first 4 Grand Prix, but Mercedes is actually going to be at 72 points following today's episode. So, I mean, things are looking, really good for Mercedes. And if they did not improve, the rumors were that there could be some problems for them moving forward now. But I mean, they're looking pretty hot right now. P3 for Russell there. Verstappen, Hamilton there. Jackson, Drugovich, Leclerc, Piastri, and Esteban Ocon get some points here today for the home team. And, of course, his home Grand Prix, Gasly, just short after what's been a very solid start to the season for him. Basically, if anybody in the top 5 teams retire, it's Alpine that's able to snag those extra points now as they continue to try and upgrade to get closer to us in the top 5 teams. We're up to P7 in the standings, 34 behind. Points are looking really close. We're only 4 Grand Prix in, but there's a lot of diversity this season that we didn't see last season that I think is going to keep things interesting, all season long. But that's going to do it for me. Next episode, Monaco. That's going to be a fun one. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day.